This is Miss D. M. Arvekar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Zoology, Rajarshi Chhatrapati Shahu College, Kolhapur. And in this lecture, we are going to study very interesting topic, that is history of a life. This topic is belonging to the paper Evolutionary Biology. As this picture is creating a very interest to learn this topic, that is a history of a life. You know, the life, we always think about how the life was originated. And in our school days, we have also learned that the first life was existed in the water. So let us go in that era and how the man was thinking we will study in type of these different theories. So how many different events occurred in the history of a life? So different types of scientists put forth the different theories. There was no any examples, although there was no any proven theory, but the theory was accepted by the people in that particular duration. So these are the five different theories which were very well known in that particular 18th, 17th or the 18th century. The one is the theory of a spatial creation. Second is the theory of a biogenesis, theory of a panspermia, theory of abiogenesis, and theory of chemical evolution of a life. Let us discuss it in brief one by one. One is the theory of a special creation. According to this theory, there as we in our culture, in our Hindu culture, it is always said that the life is created by the Brahma, the life is taken care by the Vishnu, and it is breakdown with or it is destroyed by the Mahesha. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha is the main creator of the life, or main sole reason for the creation of a life. So this was the theory that there is a special power which has created this life, but there is no any proof or there is no any experimental evidence for that. So it cannot be expected, or it cannot be accepted in this era or in this time. The second theory is the theory of a biogenesis. This theory states that the life will exist from the living thing. So they showed one experiment, that is the meat was kept in the one flask which was totally sealed. Another flask, the same meat was kept but it was covered with the uh, muslin cloth. And the third one was the open. So here, if even if the flies are not reaching to the meat, but the flies are laying the eggs on that membrane. So it will confirm, it will clearly indicate that the life will come from the living organism only. According to the theory of a panspermia, whenever there was an asteroidal impact to the Mother Earth, that asteroid sometime brought different types of sperms, and when this collision happened, the sperms will get spreaded out throughout the universe, and that sperms will get germinated to form this modern day man. So this is according to the theory of a panspermia. According to theory of abiogenesis, the life was existed or life was evolved from the non-living material. And the fifth theory, which we are going to discuss in detail, that is theory of chemical evolution of a life. According to this theory, the life was existed by the life was originated by the chemical reactions occurring in the materials which was present in the particular time period of the Mother Earth. So, according to the theory of a chemical evolution, which was put forth by the famous scientists Alexander Oparin and the Haldane, according to them, the life arose from the non-living matter about 3 billion years ago. And that process was a very gradual process of the chemical evolution in the environment which was completely different the environment in the today's world. So if we ask question why, what might happen in that particular time, so we can discuss it in the stepwise manner. So in their theory, they have mentioned how the primitive atmosphere on the earth was, how the organic compounds were started to form, how the hot dilute soup was formed, how the coacervates and the nucleic acid like polymers were formed, and how the first cell was occurred. So let us discuss one by one. As if we consider the primitive atmosphere on the earth, that was a very gaseous one. According to the theory of a Big Bang, there was a very spontaneous formation of this universe through which our earth is also the part. And if we observe the primitive atmosphere of the earth, that was in the gaseous stage, and uh, by the gradual process, this gaseous stage was converted or the change into the liquid and then to the solid. But even today also, this earth is not a totally solid one. There are different layers inside the earth which are still in the liquid stage. So in that day also, the earth core was still in the molten stage. If we consider the atmosphere in the today's world and we compare the atmosphere in the earth's prebiotic atmosphere, which was life was totally absent in this world, but life is present in this world. If we consider, then the major change is here you will not observe any free oxygen. The oxygen is a present, but it is in the bound form. But here the free oxygen is a present. So the primitive atmosphere was the reducing atmosphere, and the atmosphere in the today's world is the oxidizing atmosphere. So how the organic compound form? So according to the Alexander Oparin, they told that whatever the elements were there, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, which were present in the water vapor form, ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide, and the hydrogen cyanide. So oxygen was totally absent, but the oxides of the element which were formed in the mother earth or the earth's crust. So due to this reducing environment, or when the temperature of the earth was falling below the 100 degree centigrade, the water vapor get condensed into the formation of a liquid, and which is nothing but the rains. As the rains was formed, the water will get again evaporated, again it will get condensed and it will form. So the rain cycle will continue and it will accommodated, or it was trying to accumulate in the particular ditches on the earth. So this process was repeated for the several years till the earth got cooled down the whole water. Then, when Earth was ready to hold this water, then different lakes and rivers and the ocean was formed. And some of the atmospheric elements which were present in the gaseous form, such as ammonia, methane, hydrogen cyanide, carbon dioxide, and the hydrogen, which were dissolved in the incoming rain on the Mother Earth. And so, rain carry these atoms or the molecules to the rivers. Apart from that, the running rivers will also carry the salt and minerals to the ocean. So the water get collected, which was consist of the different types of molecules gathered by the river, and these compounds were reacted under the influence of the UV light from the sun and the lightening process on the earth. So these complex molecules were formed, such as the amino acid, fats, glycerin, formaldehydes, purines, and the pyrimides. And if we observe these all the molecules, these are nothing but the monomer of different biomolecules. That is purines, pyrimides, which are biomolecules or monomers of the nucleic acid, DNA, RNA. The sugars, which are monomer of the carbohydrate, fats, glycerin, fats, these are the monomers required for the formation of a lipid, and amino acids, which are monomer of the proteins. So, as soon as these complex substances were accumulated into that water, it was similar to the soup we make in the home. So, that process was called as a formation of a hot dilute soup. So the mixture of organic compounds are also called as a primitive broth or soup. Then the complex molecules will come together and that will form the pocket around the uh, clay or around the sand and along the seashore, and that constant, and after evaporation of water, that particular structure was converted into the coacervate or also called as a colloidal droplet. So this is the polymerization step where the different monomers were united and they were forming the polymers. So the started or the process of the polymerization takes place as soon as this environment will get suitable for these reactions. Now the sugars will united to form the simple sugars were joined to form the polymer, that is a carbohydrate. Amino acid joined to form the polysaccharides, and the fatty acids join and they will form the lipid, and purines, pyrimidines along with the deoxyribose sugar will form the nucleic acid. So the coacervates undergo the polymerization reaction, and the polymerization after polymerization, there was a formation of a one structure that was having a unique property similar to the living cell present today. Which is that property? So that property was the self-duplicating. That is, a self-duplicating molecule was formed inside this structure, which is called as a nucleic acid, which was formed inside this coaxarvate. And this entire molecule was surrounded by the membrane. And that membrane was a unit membrane which was having the ability to get to exchange the material with the surrounding environment. So due to that, this system was a unique one because it was having ability to grow. It was having a self-duplicating ability. And so that unit again get washed towards the river, and then there was a formation of anaerobic and the heterotrophic organism. Heterotrophic means the organism which will depend upon the other. Anaerobic means which will not, even if they can grow in the absence of the oxygen. So in certain time period, after several days or several years, that certain units form in this water which was having ability to use the light which was coming from the sun, and they were using, or there was a formation of ATP. So this was the foundation step for the photosynthesis, that is laid the foundation of a herbivorous plant. Okay, and then autotrophs which were from this point, the autotroph were developed. Then they were started to release the oxygen in the environment. So the ancient reducing environment was converted into the oxidizing environment, which is similar to our today's environment. So this is the diagrammatic representation how the life was existed. So this is the early life, early Earth life having certain gaseous molecule. Then prebiotic chemistry in which the certain molecules were tried to form, and they were accumulated. They formed the polymerization step. They accumulated around the clay molecule. This is called as encapsulation or the coacervates. It was having ability to exchange the material with the surrounding environment, and it was having a self-duplicating ability. So even if this theory was put forth, if there is no any experimental evidence, then no one can accept this theory or any theory in the scientific world. So I hope that you have understand about the different theories related to the history of a life, and in detail we have studied about the theory of a chemical evolution of a life which was put forth by Oparin and Haldane. In next lecture we will discuss about Urey Miller experiment in detail. So thank you very much for your patience listening.